Okay, so the objective of this lesson is to be able to work out how to increase or to decrease an amount by a given percentage. So here are the questions that we're going to have a go at, and in this case it's without using a calculator. So question number one, we're looking at £46 increased by 50%, and be careful here, look at the question, it does say we need to find out what the new value is. So the way we do one like this, we split it into two parts. It's asking us for what the new value is, but first of all I'm going to work out what the increase is. So the first bit, let's have a look at the increase. So in this case, it's increased by 50%. Now we know that if it's 50%, that's a half. So it's increasing by a half of, and remember of, we can turn into a times sign, a half of what we started with, which was the £46. So a half of 46, which is the same as dividing it by 2, will give us £23. But remember, that's only the increase. We're now after the new value. So what I actually want is the new value, and that's going to be what I started with, which is the £46. But I must add on to that how much it's gone up. We've just worked that out, which is £23. So I'm going to add those two together, 46 and 23, which will give me 69. And don't forget units, pound notes, which gives me £69. Okay, on to the second one. 32 is increased by 10%. And again, remember what I'm after is the new value. I'll split it into two parts like before. So the first part, I want to know what that increase is. So the increase is increased by 10%, but we already know that 10% is the same as a tenth. So the increase is a tenth of, which is the same as times, a tenth of 32. So if I'm doing a tenth of something, which is the same as dividing by 10, all I have to do is move the decimal point one place to the left on my 32, which gives me 3.2. Okay, that's only the increase. What I now need is to find out the new value. So my new value will be what I started with, and then add on the increase. So I started with 32, add on my increase, which was 3.2, and I'll end up with, add those two together, 35.2. Okay, on to my third one, a little bit trickier this one, 120%, but I'm reducing it, so make sure you read the question carefully. Those two are increases, I'm now reducing by 20%. So I'm going to work out the reduction first, reducing by 20%. Well, let's do it in easy stages. I know what 10% is, so let's do that first. So reduction by 10%, we'll do that bit first. We know that 10%, as in the previous question, is a tenth. So a tenth of 120, which is the same as dividing 120 by 10, is going to give me 12. But I don't want 10% reduction, I want a 20% reduction. So if I now do a reduction by 20%, if 10% reduction is 12, then 20% reduction must be twice as big. Instead of 12, it's 24. Okay, that's my reduction. The question asks me for what the new value is. So to get the new value, I'll start with the original value and I'll take off the reduction. So my new value is the original value at 120. Take off the reduction, so that's 24. And I'm left with 96, but don't forget the units, pound notes. So my final answer, the new value is now £96. Okay, on to the last one. 80 kilograms is reduced by 25%. So probably the trickiest one of the lot of these. I'm going to work out the reduction first of all. So if I'm reducing by 20%, I know that 25% is the same as a quarter. So I'm reducing it by a quarter. So let's work that out. Our reduction is going to be a quarter of what I started with, which is 80 kilograms. Okay, and that's one I can do in my head. If I'm going to do a quarter of something, I can halve it and then halve it again. So half of 80 is 40, half of 40 is 20. There we go. So that's my reduction. But remember, I want the new value. And as before, my new value will be what I started with, and then don't forget to take off the reduction to get the final answer, and include the units as well. I started with 80. Subtract the reduction, which we worked out as 20. And I'm left with 60, and don't forget the units, which were kilograms. Okay, there we are. Don't forget, you're going to have a go now. It's your turn, but don't forget, look at whether you're increasing or you're decreasing the values. Okay, so here is some for you to try. What you'll need to do now is to pause the video, have a go at them, and then the answers will follow on afterwards.